What's going on?
Hello, what's up?
Saintontas, look at your viewer count right now on Twitch.
I know it's it looks like I'm at 6K, man. It's crazy. But you can
That's
mouse
sick,
over
right?
it. You can mouse
That's
over it and then
insane.
see the real numbers. It's a little sad.
Yeah, but hey, it's all good. Yeah, so I'll be in just chatting. Saintontas will have Wuthering Waves and Brax and Honkai Star, and we'll all just farm here. And yeah, don't worry about me, man. I'm just here to mediate. I'll be a fly on the wall.
All right, man. Yeah. Okay. So what's up, man? I basically I had chatted with Box. You already saw the VOD.
Yeah.
And it was like 6 a.m. So I went to bed. I woke up, went and made some breakfast, was hanging out with someone, and then I get a clip sent to me, and it's of you watching my stuff. So I'd hop in your chat, and I was like, all right, let's just fucking hash this shit out. So I saw what you were saying about let me tell you, or let me say this, and then you can tell me if you feel like it's wrong. So basically, you feel like I am doing the same shit that Atsu is doing by shit talking you in other people's streams, and that it's hypocritical of me to do that because, you know, I've been through that shit and I know what it feels like.
Yeah, to a degree, right? And I think a lot of the messages that I pulled up in particular, where it's like, okay, he's getting dogpiled, rightfully so, by like because he's making shit takes. You know, he has like a big ego, that sort of thing. When we're going in without, you know, you basically admitted on the call with Box that you didn't even watch everything. That you summarize a lot of like the points, you took a 10-second clip, and then we're making conclusions off of that.
So basically, all right, so I have one problem with this. It's not, I didn't watch all of the Gotcha Smack Poke stuff, which you know, right? Because I thought I had a grasp on the Gotcha Smack Poke thing. I had no idea what it was actually about because I wasn't following that entire thing. But that wasn't my main issue with what was happening. That was just some extra shit that I had seen in passing, and I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Right. My main issue with you that I was having was when you were watching Vars stuff and tearing into him. Because I think that even though you obviously disagree with this take, that's fine. I think you can disagree with the video, and I think a shit ton of people disagree with the video, right? But my issue was with how you were going about disagreeing with it, because you listened to my whole story about back in Genshin, what had happened, right?
Yeah.
I was basically the victim of that, of people going after like my content, and basically saying I was spreading misinformation and shit. And that for me has never been recoverable. What was that?
It hit close to home for you.
Yeah, no, it's never been recoverable for me. Because literally, there have been times I tried to be friends with Jeff, and that I found out. No, genuinely, I did. I tried.
Yep.
Because I was like, this guy is making guides. I'm making guides. Maybe we can work this shit out. I tried being friends with him, and I genuinely could not, because every single time I talked with him, I would remember that this guy was fucking tearing into me every single day for the first like 3 or 4 months of Genshin.
Same.
Well, that's what it felt like. I don't know if that's actually accurate.
Same. He did that to a lot of creators, including myself.
Right. And so when I see this kind of happening to Vars, and when I see that like you're reacting to like a lot of people saying shit, again, I didn't have the full context of poking Gotcha Smack. Like, I admit to that. But I did 100% watch through Vars's video, and I watched through a bit of your stream. I'm not going to sit down and watch 5 hours of it. But you mentioned at one point that like you want to hear people out before you give your takes on everything. But the entire Vars video, you were pausing every like few seconds to talk about something that he said. And it felt ruthless to me. It didn't feel like constructive criticism. It felt like you were being a dick. And that's what I didn't like about it.
So I think to give some of the extra context on the VOD, right, on the React, is there was a lot of chatters coming in, either like Vars viewers on YouTube, a lot of different platforms, right? And they were basically telling me, oh, you need to watch this entire video. You need to watch all these different things before you're even able to comment on it at all. So a lot of that 5-hour VOD is me pulling up chatters, banning them, or banning them after having a conversation with them, just to like get through the video without them like interrupting how I'm reacting to it. And so that's where a lot of the 5 hours is coming in. And overall, when it comes to like how I was reacting, how I was viewing the context of the situation, what I immediately recognized from the critiques that he was making was that a lot of it, he was just simply talking about things in the game that weren't there.
You have an example of that, Saintontas?
Yeah, I don't want to be the receipts guy, but
I'll just go ahead.
Because I know you carry receipts.
Yep, I'll pull it up, and I'll share my screen so the sound goes over to your guys' area.
Yeah, easy.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
So let me just pull out the video. I've got like so many different examples, right? I've got a notepad where I was literally on stream keeping track of every single point that he was making and how, based off of the mechanics in the game, the issues or critiques he was trying to make, they were literally just not there.
You type really fast, by the way. I heard you're Korean and that you're masters in League of Legends.
Yeah, absolutely. That part of that is being able to flame your team extremely fast. And when you have a high words per minute, right, you're able to get out all the trash talk as soon as possible.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And, you know, sometimes you have to talk shit in the middle of CSing, and that really tilts your opponent.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one to practice and try out. You guys should all try it out sometime.
Yeah.
I literally just tried League again for the first time in like a year and a half last night.
All right. Y'all got my screen pulled up?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll say that this point over here, Vars builds Zhang Liao with lingering tunes. That is something that he actually has in the video. So that's something. Okay. Yeah. That's something that I said he did in the video, but it was later clarified for me, and I backtracked in the VOD and made sure that in the published video I had, it wasn't actually in there.
Okay.
But that was something that I misunderstood from his video, kind of like just going through it over the 5 hours. But he actually is building that set on the character. So that's just like one thing that I want to point out that he doesn't explicitly say, but is in there. Basically, he has like a lot of arguments in this video, right, that I've just listed out. Things being like, oh, he literally states himself that Sanhua relies on another character to work. He says her only purpose is to buff Camellia. That's literally what he says in his video. And then he immediately follows up with how he says Wuthering Waves is lesser compared to other games in comparison, because other games have teams where characters have a sum bigger than their parts. And if you immediately say that Sanhua requires another character to work, that implies that in Wuwa teams, you have interactions that make the characters bigger than the sum of their parts. And to make that comparison that Wuwa doesn't have this, when quite literally he just said it did, and 30 seconds later he says it doesn't have that dynamic, I'm just like, what is he trying to do with this information right now? Why is he representing stuff in such a way that's directly contradictory within just 30 seconds of each other? Then he says, in Wuwa, most characters are just individual kits that happen to work together. They don't have synergistic playstyles. When he just talked about how other characters require synergy, require like different mechanics, or they have different mechanics that work together with each other. He then talks about how there's not a lot of variability in the teams. He talks about how there are very limited number of team comps and ways to use characters. And one thing that he does is he builds Zhang Liao with lingering tunes. To give some context on the lingering tunes set, what this set does is it locks you into one style of play. All you can play with lingering tunes is hyper carry. If you play dual DPS with lingering tunes, it is literally worse than a two-piece because the set bonus disappears on swap. Zhang Liao is one of the best dual DPS characters in the game, and for him to say that there's no incentive to horizontally invest and go for a wide variety of characters and then proceed to lock himself into hypercarry compositions, that to me is a self-inflicted issue. This is him not understanding the game's mechanics at all and making claims that there are issues that again are self-inflicted that he's experiencing because he doesn't actually know the game or the Sonata sets. And so that's just like all of the things that I was able to pull in like a 2-minute span of time.
Okay. So do you think that... Okay, first off, what level does Sanhua have her outro skill?
Level 1.
So, like, would you not say that there's no reason to level Sanhua? Like, okay, you can't, you should, right? But Sanhua works the same, regardless of whether or not you are horizontally investing and leveling her and
I'm all about that. I always talk about how you can have a naked Sanhua on level 0 Moonlit Clouds and Overture, and you're fine. You don't really need to do much else with the character. Literally no items at all, and you're good to go. I have said that multiple times on many streams.
Right. So I'm gonna say, I guess, what my takeaway from the video was, as someone that knows Vars, because I do think he actually, in this video, I think he did a very bad job of expressing his point. I think he spoke in a lot of absolutes that made, I mean, honestly, that's why you came to a lot of these conclusions, because he spoke in a lot of absolutes that I think were not actually absolutes. But I think that Vars is someone who likes to make these discussion-based videos, which I'll talk about the guide stuff in a second too. But he likes to make these discussion-based videos where he likes to like try to, you know, provoke people to start talking about things. Like what do you think about this? Like, what do you think about that team building in Wuthering Waves? Do you feel like it's more cohesive than Genshin? Do you feel like it's less cohesive? Stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. And so he feels, from what I've seen, he feels that the characters in Wuthering Waves don't fit together like pieces of a puzzle in the same way that Genshin does. Right? And I think that even you can agree that like the elemental reaction system carries Genshin's combat, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
have you
absolutely.
played?
There
Yeah.
is no real depth at all to Genshin's combat without the system, because you don't have things like Concerto, you don't have things like parries or perfect dodges that interact with other mechanics.
100%. I think that like Wuthering Waves combat is absolutely has a higher skill ceiling, is way more complex in the actual execution. However, I feel like what he was saying is that like you can pull a bunch of 5 stars, you can pull a bunch of 4 stars, but it doesn't feel like any of those characters were specifically made for each other, except for some of the newer ones.
A good thing or a bad thing?
That's completely subjective.
Yeah, because
Exactly,
me personally,
yeah.
I think it's good that characters aren't specifically meant to work with a specific character, because then you can pull one character and have a standalone unit. But that's just my take.
Absolutely.
I don't know why it's being presented as a negative.
Yeah, and so when the video is titled "The Problems with Wuthering
Yeah.
Waves' Team Building," and we're making claims that there are problems with this dynamic that we're listing out, when quite literally it frees up compositions, right? Yinlin is the premier Zhang Liao buffer, but she has viability in other
Right.
teams. Versus in Genshin Impact, you would have the premier Zhao buffer, right? The premier Wanderer buffer, Farazan. You're not going to use her in any fucking team that doesn't do anemo damage. Never. There is absolutely no
Right.
reason you would ever do that. And so the value of your characters inherently in Wuthering Waves is just so much higher based off of that. You can use them in a lot more team comps. But then we're going ahead and saying, oh, because we don't have these super detailed or like super specific concentrated synergies, that's a problem. And we're just like, what? Why? Where's the problem? Why are we viewing this as a negative when you can just play characters in more teams, have more variety, and just like get a better experience out of pulling a limited character? You can just use them in more areas.
Sure, you know what? I 100% see that, and I agree with that, because Wuwa has that's like what Wuwa's identity has become. But I still think that Wuwa does have a bit of an identity crisis. Right? I still think they need to form out what Wuwa is trying to be a little bit more. Because right now, it feels like this weird mishmash middle ground where like you do have characters that work very well together and team building is important, but it doesn't feel as like important enough to where you have to do it in a very specific way. I think they have to spend more time like figuring out what do they want this game to do. Do they want it to be like more solo character focused? Do they want it to be a team-based game? Because that's where Genshin, which is what Vars was saying, would be a more cohesive team building system.
Do you think
this is the
Genshin has an
situation.
unfair buff of its team building system because more characters exist comparatively to Wuwa? What?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
It's about 5
Okay.
times the roster size. 5 or 6 times the roster size.
100%.
And the thing is, right, I think you mentioned something about not having like a vision, not having like I think that's a really negative spin to put on the entire dynamic. Right? Like, oh,
Okay.
these devs aren't really sure what they're doing. They're not really like they don't really have a vision, right? It's kind of insulting to them, is it not?
I don't feel like
take
it's
this freedom and this variability and how they can actually slot teams, characters are be able to use in multiple comps, but then we're framing that as they don't have a vision. They're not really sure what they're doing.
So the reason that I say that is more than just what the game is, it's what the game was when it was in development. So I don't know if you played any of like the really early betas of the game, but this game, when it was created, and like I'm gonna preface this as well. I talk with Kuro staff a lot. Like I know Kuro staff.
They're very
I'm
kind.
working with them. Yeah, they're great, and I'm working with them to make a bunch of videos, right? But I can confidently say that when this game was being made, this was meant to be their Genshin Impact, right? Whether or not it was in development when Genshin was out or not is kind of irrelevant, because they saw what Genshin was doing and they wanted to do that for Kuro games. And later they decided to take their own directions on it. But the reason that I bring that up and that I say they don't have their identity fully fleshed out yet is because a lot of the systems in this game feel, in my opinion, like I love Wuthering Waves, but they feel half-baked, right? And I feel like the team system, in my opinion, is unfinished for them. They haven't decided what they want to do with it.
What systems do you think aren't finished, or is it just the team building? Because I saw that post. You sound like you spoke to EO. It sounds like you're echoing some of his points, but I am wondering, like, what systems do you specifically have a problem with? For
Yeah,
Wuthering
like-
Waves?
Yeah.
So I think the ecosystem is really cool, but I think they should have done more with it.
Like
For example,
what?
the fact that shinies are static spawns is stupid.
Absolutely, 100% agree with you. 1,000,000%.
Yeah, not RNG. They're like, yeah, they're scripted basically.
Yeah,
Shinies.
they made it so much less magical. The shiny system was a fucking joke.
100%. I think also on top of that, like they had some really cool opportunities to do stuff with randomizing spawns a little bit. Not like entirely random, right? But like, you know, in Pokemon, you walk into the grass, there's like 5 things that can spawn there. What would make this game a lot more interesting is if you're trying to find things, they spawn on in a certain area, right? But they're not always in the same area. Roaming echoes could be really cool.
Yeah, I think that's a very fair take. That I don't feel like a lot of people are gonna disagree with that take. It's a good one.
Yeah.
Outside of echoes, I feel like the story, they weren't sure what they wanted it to be. I don't think that was because of Genshin necessarily. I think that was just like they didn't really know what they wanted it to do. They needed to rewrite.
Cindy Mar has a great video kind of like detailing how the game went through massive rewrites on the way to version 1.0. He mentioned something about how Renacita, right, what's going to be in 2.0, was actually supposed to be in release.
Really?
The release of the game. And because of the rewrites, like the Black Shores was in CBT1.
Wait, does he have proof of that or no?
He says that in his video, and so I assume that he has like the sources and stuff in the video itself.
Okay.
But that's stuff that's mentioned in the video of his.
Okay.
And so he says things about the Black Shores was in CBT1. Renacita was basically supposed to be in the launch of the game.
Because I played CBT1 and I did not see the Black Shores, but maybe I just didn't get farther.
There was like a teaser for it apparently.
Interesting. Okay.
Well, that's what was in his video.
Yeah.
One other thing is so a lot of people are gonna shit on me for this. Obviously, PGR has their own sort of like tower climbing thing where it's like the endgame challenge mode, right? Yep. But TOA is basically the same thing as Spiral Abyss. But like the thing that I have a problem with is there's not a reason for it to exist. Because Wuthering Waves has this really cool combat system with perfect dodges, parries, and perfect dodges, giving concerto, shit like that, right? Like all of that is super cool. I think that's fucking awesome, and they should capitalize on that, but they haven't. They've been trying to capitalize a little bit more on like, can you clear tower by combining these characters that have an outro skill that works with each other, but the outro skill doesn't feel like it's integral to it either, right? So it feels like they're 1 foot in, 1 foot out. But I feel like what they should be doing is, if they had an idea for what they wanted to do with the game, which it seems like they did with the combat, they would focus more on the actual boss fights, like the hologram boss fights, making like a rotational one of those instead of TOA, or in addition to TOA, as like another game mode where you have to solo it, right? Or where you can't heal through all the damage.
What were you gonna
Something
say,
that's
Saintontas?
actual mechanical skill track.
I was going to say that whole take on outro skills is, I think it's demonstrably false, just by the fact that there are multiple viable teams to clear the TOA where the outro skills just don't even interact with each other at all. Dual DPS teams are the biggest example, where they just don't have outro skills that buff each other, and they're quite literally the best teams in the game. That have the best.
Right, just because the damage dealers do so much damage on their own.
Yeah, and so to hear that, like, oh, the TOA is just like a matching simulator, or like not like a matching simulator, but like a matching thing where you match up outro skills, it's just literally wrong. Like, you have a lot of variability, different ways to approach the content, and clear the game mode.
But I guess what I'm saying is that, like, in Vars' video, he's talking about how the teams don't feel like that, and that the whole subjectivity of it is like, do we think that's a good thing for the game? Do we think it's a bad thing for the game?
What?
What?
Time out, Rook. Vars literally said in the video, hyper carry teams play exactly the same as dual DPS.
Okay.
He says that in his video. They're literally exactly the same. They play exactly the same.
He said
the
the
only
word
difference
exactly
is which
the
characters
same?
you want to play. Like Changli,
Okay,
plays the exact same as Jian.
You can give, okay, so you can give examples of like I know you have examples of where that's like demonstrably false, is probably what you would say, demonstrably false. But
it's a good word. It's a good word.
It's a good combo of words.
Thanks for that, Techie.
Yeah,
I got you, man.
No. But the thing is, like, they kind of do, right? Like, obviously, different teams will have quick swaps. Different teams will have, on-field time for 2 characters split, right? And the double DPS teams are a lot more flexible because then you don't lose buffs if you switch between them, right? But at the end of the day, you play support, you play damage, you rotate through them. There's no elemental reactions. You do as much damage as you can in a short amount of time.
If we're gonna reduce the gameplay to the characters do damage, and then the boss dies, I guess, if that's how we want to boil it.
Well, what I'm saying is
they just
the characters that you use
rotate and do damage. I mean, I guess every character in the game is the same thing. You press buttons and deal damage.
Well, okay, so what Vars' argument is, brother, what Vars' argument is that the characters don't feel like they have meaningful enough identities in tandem with each other to where that's not true.
But they do. Zhang Yao slows down time and gives you massive windows for quick swapping where the boss literally can't attack you, and so you can play a lot more safe. You don't have to dodge. And there are like so many windows where you can just unload all your damage, when in previous situations you'd have to dodge or delay your attacks so that the attacks don't hit you. And so there are really built-in mechanics and character kits that allow you to leverage different team comps and different characters that just, like that take to me was insane.
Okay.
It was insane to me, actually.
Okay, so here's the thing, man. As someone who, you know this about me, because I'm sure you've watched my videos, maybe you haven't, but you know this about me, I'm not the best wall player, right? I make plenty of mechanical mistakes in my videos. But I can still clear TOA. I don't dodge shit most of the time. Actually 99% of the time, I just take it to the fucking face and I just blast damage through it. And that's because there's nothing punishing enough in the game to where it's going to not allow me to clear for not bringing a specific synergy or like taking a ton of damage.
Have you played against the fallacy of no return in the middle tower?
I have not done this tower yet, specifically.
So you've never played against the fallacy of no return in the middle tower?
Not this tower specifically. I cleared the last tower.
What about in previous towers? Previous towers, it's been in the rotation a couple of times.
Okay, the last tower I did was Camellia, on the early access thing.
Okay, so I guess have you fought against the fallacy?
Yes, I fought against the fallacy.
Okay.
I know they have the stagger bar.
And if you don't interact with the stagger bar and blow it up, his second phase is quite literally one of the worst fights in the game. Like it gets to a point where he starts teleporting around ridiculously, and if you don't interact with the game's mechanics and leverage a team that can cycle through intro skills, you get absolutely fucked up in that fight.
What if you face roll it with Camellia?
You can't. Or you
can't.
Can try,
it won't auto parry.
Your ass is gonna get beat. It has no parryable attacks. It shoots like 400 bullets at you. It literally the game becomes a bullet hell. If you don't knock him out of the sky and mess up basically, if you don't do a stagger bar rotation and break it all down, you're going to get ruined in that fight.
What if I spend $10,000?
You will one-shot the boss before it gets to that phase.
Okay.
So you can't pay to win and not interact with the fallacy if you just wail enough to one-shot it. That is true.
Yeah.
So I guess my thing is, like, I haven't done this tower, so correct me if I'm wrong, but like, I don't
fallacy's not in this rotation.
Okay, so he's not in this. Okay. So
yeah, he's been in some previous ones.
Gotcha. So you don't feel like you could just face roll the fallacy by just playing strong characters? Because that's what it's been for every other tower.
You will get ruined. And the fallacy is, I believe that the fallacy was designed with the context that like, hey, some bosses are a little bit more face rolling, right? Like the gorilla is sort of just like, all right, you don't really have to do anything against the gorilla. It just like keeps attacking and jumping around and stuff. But if you don't time your breaks, rotate properly against the fallacy, again, it is quite literally one of the worst fights in the game because it teleports around, shoots a million projectiles, goes like 50 feet in the air, and then just like dumps like basically Kokolia's meteor from like, what's it called? From a Honkai Star Rail on you.
Okay. So you don't think in any way this is the same face roll content as every other gacha boss?
It's not the same as face roll content. Absolutely not.
Okay. I'll try it out when it comes into tower next, not next rotation, whenever it comes.
You can actually fight it in the overdrive zone if you'd like, right now.
That's the that's.
Boot it out, Brax. Boot it out.
Right?
Boot it out.
Yeah.
I farmed it for
the overdrive zone unlocked.
Is that the hold on. Check.
I'm actually so curious what the fuck this.
Let's see it, Brax. I want to see you fight the fallacy in the overdrive zone.
Oh my god.
Let's see it,
bro.
You tell me if that's just something you can face roll.
I'm curious. Don't you have a nickname for this fight, Saintontas?
Yeah, the fallacy of no rewards.
That's the one. That's right. I remember that.
The fallacy of no rewards.
Man. That's insane.
Yeah. Actually, I'm curious.
Honestly, I might not even have overdrive zone unlocked, so let me check. Because I play this game more on the early access servers than my own account.
Okay, that's fair.
So they have everything unlocked. I hate replaying the game multiple times.
You unlock the overdrive zone after 30 out of 30 clearing the hazard tower a single time.
Okay, I probably have it then.
Okay, you check.
Let me load it up.
Oh god, we're going! Hell yeah, dude, I'm stoked.
I mean, listen, man, I don't think I'm good at this game, right? I could get fucked. But I also know that like most gacha games and their content is just fucking piss easy once you're fully built, which I'm not, by the way.
It's not. The fallacy is not you're gonna eat those words, buddy. I guarantee it.
Oh, here we go.
When you,
I saw a
Look at
very
that.
mixed reception to this take, so I actually am very curious. I also think it is very good because Brax is forwardly casual with it, so this will kind of give people a good experience. I would probably say you're better than the average casual. I would say, Brax, you're pretty damn good at video games. But I am curious to see how you'll fare against this. Let me know when you have it up, and I'm gonna screen share your stream.
Overdrive zone. So we have to clear hazard. Clear all 3 towers in hazard zone. I haven't done it. Was overdrive zone added later?
it was added in patch 1.3.
Okay, yeah, that's why I don't have it.
Oh damn, bro!
Yeah.
Fuck.
Unlucky.
That would have been so cool.
No, listen, man. Listen, I'll take your word for it. I'll try it out when I unlock it.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'll take your. I will take your word for it though. That boss
good.
is different from what I've seen when I was just even farming it.
Wait. I have a crazy idea. What if I give Brax one of my mods accounts who have it unlocked?
Do it.
I'll do it if you. Yeah, if you want to send over one.
Yo, Sarah. Yo, Sarah. Yo, send that shit. I'm actually, dude, I'll be real. I haven't done this shit either, Brax. I want to say it, man. Oh, man.
No, listen, man. So I'm getting commissioned to do. I'm getting sponsored to do guides for Wuwa, and I play on the beta servers and I test the characters and shit.
Yeah.
But like after you play on like all the early access shit, it's draining to play on the main server again.
Absolutely.
Because you have to sit there and like farm your shit.
Yeah, I think you're good. You don't need to play 2 accounts. I think that's completely fine. You play how you want to play. Nobody can tell you that the way that you're playing is wrong. It doesn't matter.
All right. Well, whatever.
As long as you're not presenting yourself in a means that'd be like, oh yeah, this guy's really fucking amazing. It's like,
no, man, I'm not a.
You say you're a
man.
casual. Yeah, you say you're a casual.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You're what? More of a Honkai Star Rail guy?
Yeah, no, I love Honkai Star Rail. I have 3 accounts for Honkai Star Rail.
Yeah, Honkai's amazing. Do you play Honkai at Saintontas?
I quit after Firefly release because there was like one event where I think it was in Pentacon and you had to like jump to like 4 different parts of the map and then you had like a 30-minute dialogue to start the event. And I was just like, I fucking hate this game.
Yeah,
I
no.
pulled Firefly and I got the fuck
Sarah,
out.
send it on Discord.
I love people who can admit that a game they like just fucking blows. Yo, Sarah, did you DM him it or no?
All right, fucking.
All right, how do I pop this shit out? Oh, ladies and gentlemen, let's see it.
Yeah, you don't want to see my fucking gameplay here, man. It sucks.
Luminous energy.
Miss Perry.
Bro, I was gonna judge the entire thing.
Oh, we tanked a hit, didn't do the swap back.
Born from ancient roots.
Okay.
Bro, there's no way. Wait. Okay, let me retry that. Wait, hold on.
Wait, this is floor 1?
This is the of Hazard Tower. Yeah. It's a fallacy after this.
All right, let's see it, man.
Yeah.
Bask in the sunlight.
So
Wait, so this ain't even the real fight.
No, the fight comes out. Well, it's in this fight, but we have to kill this guy. So
Okay.
to parry with Arena, you have to jump, right?
Stay behind. Like frigid
What? Oh, shit. Yeah, that's a weird fucking view, guys. Let me go fix that. Sorry.
Hey, my
Monka.
view's perfect, man. You're doing great, Brax. You're killing
Oh
it, bro.
shit! Wait. Dude, I got so
You
used
good?
to it. Oh wait. Hold up.
good.
Wait, I'm
You're good.
actually getting stunned. That's like the
Yeah,
first time that's happened.
You're kind of getting bodied, man.
No, like that's
I don't know.
genuinely, that's like the first time I've actually been fucking stunned while starting up Camellia's shit. Like on God, the entire time when I was doing this shit for my guide video, like just never got stunned. I never got punished.
in everything.
Very
Also, the
strange.
echoes are a little
Well,
bit different than I'm.
Yeah, here we go, man. Let's just. Yeah, it's got to be the echoes.
Yeah, it's the echoes, man. It's the
The
echoes. Yeah, you
fallacy
get it.
comes after this guy, so you have to clear him first.
Yeah.
I don't want. We got time, man.
All right, there we go. Now we can finally start playing the game.
Struggle
I-
harder.
I can do a run afterwards too, if you want to see that.
Yeah.
I'll
We'll see
watch
you
an
just,
optimized run because I know you got the shit locked down. That stunned me out of my ephemeral.
Yeah. Oh, good parry, bro.
Yeah, totally intentional, by the way. Intentional.
That was fire.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, Camellia auto play the game, bro. You turn this into cookie clicker.
Cookie clicker.
Yes, sir.
Luminous energy.
Big ult.
No,
Sarah,
no,
what
like
are your
I have
Camellia
no
stats?
doubt in my mind that Saint's gonna fucking body this in one go.
Well, we'll see. I mean,
We'll see.
I'm interested in what a casual player can do.
Well, a casual player can probably even do better than I'm doing, man. You say I'm good at video games.
I think you're
I
great.
don't know about all that, bro.
I think you're great. You're good at Pokemon too.
Oh yeah,
Crafting.
surely.
Sever.
Big damage. Holy fuck, that move does
Dude,
so
Camellia
much.
Fox though, like,
Fevers.
She does. She's so good.
yeah.
72K. All right.
I don't know. Is Sarah
That's
free to
big
play or no? right, here's fallacy.
Oh, wait, you weren't even fighting the real boss
No,
yet?
this is fallacy, bro.
Let's see it. Okay. Alright, nice.
Yeah, that's fallacy.
Yep. And
Shackles be gone.
we'll see how you rotate through. The rotations here are super important to making sure he does not fuck up your day.
Okay.
I mean, I think he's kind of owning right now, to be
If
honest.
you, wait, are all of his attacks unparryable, or is it just the second phase?
He has a couple of parryable attacks.
Okay.
Oh, that got stuffed.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, you weren't using ephemeral. That's good.
All right,
I think you're doing great, Brax. You got this.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I know.
Oh,
if
you
nobody else
swapped
got me, I know
Camellia
Tectone's got
a
me,
bit
bro.
early. I believe she was still budding.
Yeah,
so you
yeah.
can get her
Oh,
enhanced
no.
outro skill
Me-
and miss like half of her damage.
Stay behind. Lotus pervade.
I mean, low key, he's tanking everything and he's chilling. Oh, good dodge.
Okay.
Huge dodge.
There we go.
Don't run. Keep the dance
Are you a white mode user or a red mode user?
acting.
Against a single target boss, I would use white mode.
Okay.
And now he's about to go sicko mode. So
Okay.
This is
Let's
kind of where
see
the
the sicko
breaking
mode.
is super important. Yeah.
Oh, I can't even hit him.
Good
Hold on.
luck.
I
It's over.
legit can't even
God,
touch this
what the
guy.
fuck?
Yeah, this is what I meant, guys.
Stay behind me.
Yeah, and your intro skill just doesn't land because he's.
Yeah, and then I can't. Oh shit! There's a follow up. I'm fucking dead.
Holy, brother.
Yeah, and I can't
this
even touch
is-
his
this
fucking
is what
HP
we-
until he's fucking
this
broken.
is- Yeah, yeah.
Damn, that's crazy, dude.
Damn,
So-
bro.
In
There are a lot
Overworld,
of
he just
people in
dies
your
before he
chat
even gets that far.
Downplaying this boss. They're like, oh, it was so easy.
Hey, you know, in their defense, I fucking suck at this game. Right? I learned what I got to make my video, and that's it. It's out.
But I do think it is important because I do think that's how a lot of people play the game. I think that casual players should play the game, and nobody gives a fuck if a hardcore player can beat it easily. It's not about them. It's about the majority demographic, which is the casual players who will be the ones
Yeah.
looking up guides, because usually people who look up guides are worse. So, yeah.
Yeah, and you know, you're giving me a lot of benefit of the doubt here, but I genuinely think like most people are gonna play better than that. If you're in the hazard zone for tower, you're probably used to playing this game a lot more than I am.
Yeah, if you
Right.
have the overdrive zone unlocked, you've already kind of beaten the hazard zone already. And so, yeah,
Right,
maybe
right.
it's like, a bit more like a specialized thing for that. I'll just go ahead and share my screen, I guess, now.
Yeah,
Oh, you're
I
going?
want to see you fight this thing actually.
All right. Is there like a character? Should I use Camellia as well? Who should I be using for
Use,
that?
use the
Whoever
same
you
team.
want.
Use the same
Oh, same
team.
team?
Use the
Okay,
same
yeah,
team?
sure.
Yeah, let me know when you got it booted up so I can tap
Can I
back
use
in. I'm
Shorekeeper
grinding.
instead? Because I like her better.
Yeah,
Do I have
go
to use
for it.
Verena? Okay.
Yeah, fuck Verena, bro. I hate that fucking cabbage head looking bitch.
Yeah, we'd rather look at Shorekeeper instead. I agree.
Would you acknowledge that Verena looks terrible as a character, or do you like their design?
She got plants growing out of her fucking back. I don't think she looks that good.
Okay, yeah, I think she's fucking terrible. Okay, that's good.
She got like plants attached to her spine.
See, I told y'all he can shit talk the game, chat. Y'all fucking sell this motherfucker short every goddamn stream, man. Y'all are too pokey pilled right now.
Pokey build is
so we're
crazy,
doing the
man.
overdrive zone, right?
That's insane.
I gotta close some fucking windows, to be honest. I feel like running all this shit is blowing my computer up.
Yeah,
Give me 1 second.
that's it.
Oh god. All right, I'm gonna pause your stream as well, Techie.
Yeah.
Minus
After you show
minus
us
one
this, I
viewer.
have something else I want to talk about.
Yeah. We still got a lot more. We haven't even got to the main point yet.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right. Don't look at that. I still have 8 days left.
You're all good, man.
I've also cleared these. I've
You're
just been
fucking
testing it.
fraud.
I didn't
I
have
just
hazard
are a
I've
unlocked.
been
so I don't
testing out
think
all
it-
the different
fraud.
things. Okay, I've been testing out different team
fraud.
comps in the game modes.
If Wuwa was your favorite game, you would have beat all the content already, man.
It
Fuck
is
this guy,
beaten.
man.
I've just reset them so I can use the characters in different spots.
Still taunt us, man. Still taunt us.
All right.
Holy man.
So should I use Naked Sanhua? I think I will. I will use Naked Sanhua.
Sure.
Oh, he's flexing now.
Okay. Everything should be good to go. Let's do it.
Here we go. Let's see what this echo picker can do.
Yeah.
That's a
Hey,
crazy
I don't have
term.
any,
Okay.
I don't have as many echoes as Genazad, so he's the true echo picker.
Ooh.
Oh, wait a
That's
second.
it.
Let me turn on my volume.
One loss. He fucked up once, guys. Just remember that.
Whoa. There was nothing wrong with that. I was just like, sometimes I like the sound cues for the concerto.
Sure, man. That's fine.
There we go.
I won't lie. I'm barely paying attention to that. I just wait for the fucking noise. Okay.
All right, chat. Let him cook.
I see you. Okay, let him cook.
I kind of used the fallacy a little bit early there.
Stay behind me. Like frigid death.
Yeah, I would
Oh,
uninstall
he's
if
doing
I
the
were you,
tech?
man.
Not worth mentioning. I can keep.
Let's see the swap back swap. I'm not gonna lie, bro. You're kind of getting your shit kicked in, low key.
Harder.
I missed the swap back because I used the fallacy a little early.
Oh.
Oh. You guys see that negative edge?
That was big.
Oh,
I can't wait to see Saint get absolutely shit on by the next fight. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, okay, Loki.
I think this guy's gonna roll it, man. He's got the adrenaline.
I got my
pumping.
ephemeral
What the
blocked.
fuck was
I
that?
Actually,
He's
should
locked
have
in.
gotten
Wait, have you
S1.
never done that with Shorekeeper?
What was that?
That's
I'll
her
show you the
intro
negative
after
edging
she's
right
level
here.
3.
Stay behind me. Frozen
I've
blood.
never seen her do that.
Oh, he's negative edging? Swap back, swap back. Oh, okay, okay.
That's her enhanced intro. Never seen that shit in my whole life, chat. I've been using Shorekeeper since launch. Never used it.
Self-deceivers. Grafting. Suffer.
Bro just unlocked the DLC in front of my eyes. Let's see it, man. Big dodge. Yep.
Thou
Bro's not. How is he doing that?
Oh, he got that S6, man. That's what that is. That's S6.
That's nasty.
Yeah, yeah.
Stay behind me. Shackles be gone.
Okay, he's bodying it.
Yeah, Loki shitting. Okay, that's good.
Change of perception.
Naked Sandwall, that's big. 220 damage, enormous.
Massive, crazy.
I'm not even using my crownless. I'm kind of messing up here.
Hey, y'all good,
All
man.
good.
Don't run.
Hey, if the boss's HP reaches 0, you played the game right.
Going.
It's true.
Vitality. Sour.
Okay. Oh, he's going sicko mode.
He is doing it, yeah.
Here goes.
And boom, knock him out, Shorekeeper. Got him.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Good
okay.
timing, man.
That's crazy.
Stay
That's
behind
nasty.
me.
That's the shit I like to see, though, in fucking game development, man. Shit like that is so fun.
Ashen shell.
Yeah, yield, swap back, man.
It's
Nasty.
crazy.
Yep.
Oh shit, where's my energy? Ah, I kind of griefed that. I think I missed a crit too.
Entertain me.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I think you might want to watch some more Regs Lamp.
That's insane.
I'm kind of tanking there. I kind of griefed that rotation.
No, man. Listen. I'm looking at this.
Iron Grok.
Maybe the worst player I've ever seen.
Yeah, be
Yeah,
real, man. If you
totally.
weren't saying that you were fucking up, nobody would know that you fucked up.
Loading.
A change of perception.
Sarah might know.
Everything that I see is a boss's HP getting closer and closer to 0, and your units being alive. So you're doing something
Yeah.
right.
Grafting. Suffer.
That's some fucking retarded damage. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. Is that S0 for you?
That's S0 S1.
That is fuck. Hey, Saintontas,
Yo, that's crazy, man.
my
Thank you.
king, my king.
The king of Wuwa, dude.
Yeah,
That's
I could have
insane.
played
We
that
gotta get you in a
better as
1v1
well, but-
versus Regslant, man.
Hey,
That would actually be
Rexler does
content,
like
man.
solo clears. I don't see tower stuff from him that often. He really likes holograms. That's what I've seen.
True.
Are you
You know what
good
else
at
he
holograms?
likes?
Sorry, what was that?
Oh, I was like, are you good at holograms or not?
I'm actually kind of shit at holograms. I get my ass like wiped by them like all the time. I don't practice them that often, but there's gonna be an opportunity to later.
Do you like hologram more or less than TOA? Do you like TOA more?
I actually like TOA more just because it's like, you know, that was like a really fun, hard fight, right? And it's just like now I can try it with different characters and different team comps and just experiment and kind of see like what's
Okay.
going on, right? Like one thing in particular that I really like is just you have like all these different characters, all these different rotations, all these different bosses, and you can just experiment with like the harder stuff, like this. But
I've seen anyone use that character since 1.0.
he's really fucking good.
Who?
Oh yeah, he's great. I just haven't seen anyone fucking use him.
Who's good? Who?
Gian.
Yeah.
Oh, Gian, gotcha.
Everyone, and there were a lot of people saying he's power craft, right? Useless, doesn't really do anything. But
Are people saying that?
I feel like he's still fucking
Full of
cooking,
people.
man.
Oh, yeah, I've never heard anybody say that, but I mean, you probably know the Wuo community better than me.
okay, my intro skill missed, even though I don't know how that happens.
Here, regardless of all this, clearly we can tell that there are some boss fights that not every casual can face roll. I believe there was another topic that we wanted to move on to. I believe, right, Brax?
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, I mean that was good to see. No, I actually appreciate that.
Let me stop sharing.
So I have a quick question for you. So after seeing how I play, would you say that I should quit the game?
Sorry, what was that?
So after seeing how I play, would you say that I should quit the game?
No, I think what a good thing is just like, hey, having the context that somebody is, either like, it's just a matter of like not necessarily quitting the game, but it's just like if you have, I guess, more skill in the game when it comes to things like tier lists, like advanced character guides, that sort of thing, how to like optimize certain characters and get them working in like optimal rotations. I think that having that sort of like track record of success and that track record of accomplishment is something that makes those guides a lot more valuable, especially something like a tier list in particular, right? Because when you're able to identify where characters are strong, who's strong in certain types of content, that allows you to make like a better judgment on things like that.
So to give full context for chat, if I can interject here real quick. So I'm assuming what happened was, because I don't know the whole situation, is that Vars made a video that you deemed to be slight misinformation, Saintontas, and you said that he should quit the game?
Not even slight.
Okay,
I
so
thought
what
it was
happened?
extremely misinformative. So one of the big things that he does, I'll just show you guys in the video. It's a little bit spicy.
Sure. Explain to chat what he's trying to prove and how he fucked up.
Yeah, so the problem here is that this is a rotation. This is like a B-roll. This is a clip from his tower footage that he's putting into the video as he's critiquing the combat and combat design and team building. And this is pretty much empirical, demonstrably proven that he does not know how to play Shorekeeper at all.
Okay.
Because what you would do with Shorekeeper is activate this blue thing, use her intro skill, which is like almost ready, swap to Yinlin, make it purple, swapping to Yinlin with the intro skill, with her intro skill would make this purple, and then you would swap from Yinlin to Zhang Liao to make it gold, and then use their liberation.
And the gold, I believe, increases their damage via crit damage?
Yeah, 12.5% crit rate and 25% critical damage.
That's big damage, yeah.
It's a huge buff. And so he just used the biggest nuke in his kit without even trying to buff. You're also going to notice that he doesn't have Yinlin's ultra buff either. That gives a massive damage amp, which will basically almost not like double, but get really close to doubling the actual damage of his liberation.
Yeah, that increases lightning damage, right?
Yeah, lightning damage and liberation damage. And so when you're unbuffed with Yinlin and you use your Zhang Liao stuff, you're doing no damage. So this is just like interesting to see as B-roll. It's kind of like this, to me, says that you actually have no idea how to play the game and no idea how Shorekeeper works.
So then your issue was he's making a video saying Wuthering Waves team building is bad, yet
when
he's
he
using
doesn't
a
know
team
how
that
to
he doesn't even know how to play.
He does not know how to play the game.
Okay.
So
And he made a guide on Shorekeeper as well.
So here's the thing, like, I think that is beneficial, right? Like if you put in B-roll that like proves that you know how to play the game, that's great and all. But I think a lot of people in the recording B-roll, especially for like sponsored videos, right? Because I'm pretty sure this is a sponsored video. That you kind of just go and like you mindlessly play the game. I don't know if you do that ever, but for me, like when I'm getting footage in Star Rail or Genshin, I'm not always worried about if it's the most optimal unless it's a guide video, right? Because in the guide video, I want to make sure I'm not showing a bunch of fuck ups.
I get the difference between unoptimal. This is just not playing the game. Like this is if an optimal rotation is at like 90%, this is at like a 5%.
So this is like
somebody
playing
that just
Kazuha
got
with
the
Geo
controls to the
characters.
game is just pressing random buttons.
Right, but
That's what this looks like.
I guess the reason I feel like I just feel like that doesn't matter because this isn't like obviously this is his opinion on the game, but I don't think the background footage that he's using proves or disproves like his opinion of the game, right? He can still feel how he does about the game and its design choices without necessarily having to understand every single thing about the game.
Yeah, I think the B-roll would be important.
Like,
I think the B-roll would be important if it was like, this is the B-roll I'm showing of the thing that I'm talking about in the game, but it's not really indicative of anything he's talking about. It's just like to pass the time. I think it's fine.
And you've seen him play correctly, right? Like in the guide videos, he at least makes the effort to do the rotation right. And this isn't a guide video, but like you can tell he does put in the effort where it's there. And I know he does because he talks to the same guy I do about like just optimizing the characters and testing them out.
So is there any misinformation that he puts out in the video?
yes.
Okay.
Massive amounts.
Yeah, that's
It's
okay.
everywhere.
So arguing over B-roll is kind of like nonsensical. Let's talk about what he said in the game. That's like wrong.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to this part over here.
That being said, hey Vars, if you're watching this, use more accurate B-roll, dumbass. Okay.
Like, I'm just saying that like using B-roll, that's just us like not rotating through anything properly, and then talking about like what's right or what's wrong with the game's design. To me, is just like, I mean, why just damage your credibility like that?
You
when you're
don't
trying to make
need
a legitimate critique.
You don't need to be good at the game to have an opinion on the game, though.
I know, but this
yeah,
is
I
not
agree.
being good
I
at the
agree.
game. This is not knowing how to play the game.
Okay,
That's
but
what's
like, dude, if I
indicated in the footage.
okay, you said I was straw manning when I said this last time, but like, if I have a problem with the 50-50 system and I can recognize that objectively it's a shit system, like I don't have to understand everything about the game to know that's a shit system. I don't even have to understand everything about gacha. I can just say I don't really like this. I think it's shit, and that's okay.
This is a video
Right,
on
and
team building, though, and playing in a team and the synergies between characters. And so this is him not knowing how to play the team. And he's talking about team building and how the teams and how the characters interact with each other.
But do you think his take would change if he was playing it correctly?
I think that his take would have more validity and be easier to recognize as potentially true and leave more room for discussion if he showed that he actually was able to play the game and rotate through the team.
So what is the take? Because if the team is about team building and he doesn't know how to play a team, then yeah, it does lose some credibility. Absolutely. So what is it that we're arguing here?
I'm trying to find specific takes over here.
Sure.
Let's just go into the hyper carry. Let's
Take
just go
your
into the
time.
hyper carry.
Yeah, we're in no rush.
Yeah, let's get into that. Thank you, Techie.
Absolutely.
Opposite problem is Genshin. The immense breadth of
Holy
possible.
shit, Genshin
The mechanics
scary.
and foundation are there, it just needs to expand the menu.
There's something about hyper. Yeah, okay, here it is. This is the most diabolical part of the clip for me, at least.
Right now, there's no
Okay.
difference between hypercarry and swap cancel teams. It's
Right, this you brought this up earlier. This
Yeah.
bothers you a lot.
Right now, there's no difference between hyper carry and swap cancel teams.
Okay, you said dual carry and hyper carry, which I feel like dual carry doesn't imply quick swap.
It does.
I don't believe it does.
I've never seen a dual DPS team where you don't quick swap the characters.
That's fair.
Yeah, wait, no, yeah, I actually agree. Is there any example of a dual DPS that doesn't use quick swap? It 100% does.
Wasn't there a whole thing with like
100%.
maybe I'm just fucking full of shit, but wasn't there a whole thing with like Havoc Rover on field and Cheng-Li on field?
Yeah, so that's you
Without
can only
quick swapping
do that through
between them?
quick swap. You can only do that through quick swap and have them both on the field at the
I
same
know
time.
you can do it with quick swap and rotate through and get a bunch of damage, but there was a bunch of arguments being made by other creators that Cheng-Li on field time and Havoc Rover on field time, because Havoc Rover on field time isn't very long, right? Like you have that bar you run out of and then that's it. It's not quite long enough to be like Camellia where you're on field the entire time, or like Shang Liao, right? Like it's not quite long enough for that. But Cheng-Li also has the ability to be super flexible with that, and so you can do both of that. Does that make sense? Both of them. And that's what I saw people arguing. I think it might have been I win to lose, but I could just be full of shit.
I think you still need a quick swap in that team to play it properly, though.
I think it's best to do that, but I think somebody was arguing otherwise.
I mean, you can
to my
play
knowledge, from what I'm seeing here from chat, sorry to butt in, so there's pretty much 99% of dual DPS teams are quick swap. There is one exception, but I wouldn't say the exception's the rule. So I do think that it's fair to say that dual DPS does imply quick swapping.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, keep going, Saintontas.
Yeah, so there are a couple of more just like really so right, this is a thing, right? There are a lot more takes like this, and when you see that in combination with all the other factors that we were just talking about, it gets this video gets really stinky really fast.
Okay.
Here's another one. This is another one that's an absolute banger, and it's kind of like the whole dual DPS thing.
Okay.
He says that Zhang Liao and Shorekeeper are some of the most generic characters in the game. They're completely
Okay, that's
generic,
interesting.
and they're not like unique in any way.
He's just another generic attacker. Oh, she's another generic healer.
I mean,
When
she
Zhang
does.
Liao
Oh wait,
is the only
Shorekeeper is
character in the
literally
game
Verena
with-
Plus.
No, she's not.
She's like Verena Pro Max.
No, she's not.
No, because Verena, you can get the whole kit done in about 2 seconds, whereas
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's obviously that difference, but I'm talking about the buffs.
No, they're completely different.
Yeah, because isn't Verena like attack percent and then Shorekeeper's crit rate?
Yeah, Shorekeeper's crit, and she takes much longer to ramp up.
Right, yeah, of course, but that doesn't make them completely different characters. They serve the
They're
same
completely
purpose.
different characters with much different attacks and like synergies.
All right,
I'm
we're just not
actually-
going to agree on that.
Well, no, I would actually like to hone in on this. I'm actually very curious. How are they similar? I feel like because that to say is, couldn't you make that argument for any other character in any other gacha game?
Yeah.
I feel like
no,
they're
that's why
pretty damn
like
different.
Gallagher is Linkshot. Linkshot obviously is very different from Gallagher, right? She does a fuck ton of damage and she can even outpace Firefly in endgame content.
So I agree
right?
that Gallagher E6 is Linkshot. Like Linkshot
But
is
yeah, but Gallagher
That's
E6 is Linkshot. When you reduce it down to fire support that heals, that is in break teams, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like it's fair to say like Shorekeeper is your dedicated buffer and healer in your team of characters that you are going to be using in TOA that's going to be buffing, giving you a shit ton of buffs and like gigantamaxing your characters. You know what I mean? Like she gives in my opinion, she gives bigger and better buffs and she takes a little bit more on-field time.
Okay, so then let's think of the.
And she heals,
I think that
right?
the accurate example here would be this would be Hua compared to chat. Who's a healer or shielder in Honkai Star Rail that increases crit rate, crit damage? I'm trying to think here.
Fushuan E1.
Fushuan E1. Yeah, so I don't think Fushuan and Hua are really similar whatsoever because one you use for dot teams and one you use for more, crit rate, crit damage.
You just
Like,
don't use her anymore because she sucks.
Yeah, I feel like Shorekeeper and
It's
Verena.
not event screen, man.
Yeah, no, I feel like Verena and Shorekeeper are very, very, very different. Like,
Yeah,
almost like-
Shorekeeper
I mean,
is
I could write out a
that-
list about how different they are.
Yeah,
I mean, you can make a compare and contrast list. Like obviously you can go down the list. You could say crit rate, crit damage, and then you can talk about rate of buffs. You can talk about the amount of healing. You can talk about the field time. You can talk about all that shit. But to me, I still view them from a similar lens because I'm not viewing them for very specific teams. I'm viewing them as like you can use them in place of each other and be okay. It may not be the most optimal thing for every single team, but if I'm playing a team with Verena and then I get Shorekeeper and I know how to play Shorekeeper and I put her in that team, it's probably still going to clear.
It is, but the point is that there are specialized team comps that Shorekeeper performs a lot better in and is like the biz pick for hypercarry teams. And then we have the Verena, especially when she's S2, she is the GOAT in dual DPS because especially with Chang Li, S2 Verena and Chang Li is one of the best sort of dynamics in the game. Because Verena just shits out intro skills for free and charges up Chang Li's Forte circuit like faster than anything else in the game.
Okay.
And it just
but
lets
at
you
S0,
perform so much better with her. And
But
even
at S0,
even
it
at
doesn't-
S0, she's better than Shorekeeper for Chang Li. 1000%.
yeah, of course. I guess what
so-
I'm saying is like I think this is literally just a difference of opinion.
I know, but the thing is, he's calling her generic. And then not even
Okay.
exploring the actual differences between how she works. Like Shorekeeper literally, like, he says they're generic and then has the blue Stella realm. And so it's like, he doesn't actually understand what the differences are when he's making claims like that. Calling them generic and then using Shorekeeper like whatever the fuck he just did.
So I think the issue right now is more of an issue on every other character and not those two. Because for right now, besides one team, you can pretty much use them interchangeably. But I don't think that really falls down to Shorekeeper's fault. Because, for example, if they were to make more attack percent scaling units for damage, then the team comps would be very different. However, they've yet to do that so far. Whereas Honkai Star Rail has that luxury. Like, for example, like you can make the exact same argument that Fu Xuan is just Hua because they both heal. But then it's like, okay, well now we need other characters that boost attack, and then we need other characters that boost crit rate specifically. That doesn't necessarily make them different because, like, from a kit perspective, Shorekeeper and Verena are so fucking different. They just don't have the units to capitalize on their differences yet.
Yeah.
From my opinion.
There's another set of interesting takes that he makes, where he starts he kind of starts talking about some of the inadequacies with the game, and then just says, whenever a DPS character is released, they're just going to be compared to another DPS character. Whenever a support is released, they're going to be compared to another support character. Whenever a sub DPS is released, they're going to be compared to another sub DPS character. And it's like, why are we kind of wording it as this sort of a critique when there is literally no game where that doesn't happen?
No, I agree with you there. That was
Yeah.
one of my
It's just
criticisms when I watched Vars' video as well.
And it's just like the framing of it is just so strange to, like, again, paint some sort of problem that, I mean, it's just universally
has.
applicable across the genre.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so it's
Who
like,
wants to pair with characters who specialize in attacks, canceling for the other very
Yeah, it was
Oh,
kind
and-
of like what's his name, Ryuku's video on Wuthering Waves, where every single issue he pointed out exists in every single gacha game.
Yeah.
That's gonna be an interesting one to watch later.
Oh, you will watch that and say the same shit happens in every other gacha you play.
Yeah, and
So-
obviously we can point that out as a problem, but as long as as long as the recognition is there, right?
Yeah, I mean, I say that all the time. Just because a bunch of people own slaves in the 1800s doesn't mean it's okay. But yeah, I think we should always be pushing for more. Hey, I'm just saying, hey, they all did it. I'm just saying, like, we should always be pushing more for.
That's
games-
crazy.
games
man.
get-
That's insane.
That's crazy.
So say I want to basically let you know that my issues with what you were doing was less about like it was less about you saying I don't like this about the video, I don't like this about the video. It was more about how you handled it. Because
Yeah,
to me,
and-
like you got really fucking heated, and I feel that led a lot of people to make almost an enemy out of Vars. He sent me some screenshots of just like people being kind of like volatile, and you know, arguably a lot of that's just the video. People didn't like the video. I think that's fair to say.
My viewpoint on it is if you're a sponsored creator who is, you know, basically getting premier access, blah, 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 being funded to make guides, to make content on this game, there's a certain level of just like due diligence, a baseline level of effort that you should be putting into your points, to be putting into the design of your video, the editing, the B-roll, to represent the game with the context that you have been sponsored by them. And to me, when I'm seeing like stuff that's just quite literally wrong, and stuff that doesn't make any sense at all, B-roll like this, and then we're making claims that Shorekeeper and Zhang Liao are generic, when quite literally, they're some of the most unique characters and implementations in the game. It's just like, why are we, again, framing this game in a negative way, creating problems out of nothing, when we are getting sponsored by them, when we are getting financially supported by these devs? Can't we just have at least a baseline level of effort into the content that we're making, when that's the context of our relationship with the game? And when there isn't anything, like, to me, this was such a low effort video with takes that look like they were generated by ChatGPT, stuff that's super contradictory, right? And to me, it's just like, hey, it's just, why not put more effort into it?
Okay. So
That's
you,
fair.
so do you feel like basically like he's misrepresenting the game and
Yes.
getting paid for it?
I don't think he got paid for this specific video. Because
think he
if
did.
I was Kuro and saw this, I wouldn't pay for this either.
I think he
but
got
he has
paid
been
for it.
sponsored in the past.
Yeah, there are curl contracts that are just like, hey, make us a couple videos or do a couple streams. And I think he might be on one of those, right? Which is why he's making guides. Because one other thing I wanted to talk about actually was that you say Vars is a guide maker and he's made guides. I don't
Yeah.
think that guy has ever made a guide that he wasn't paid for. And I think this started in HSR actually, is they started like commissioning people to make guide videos, like sponsoring people to do that.
Yeah.
And those people weren't guide makers. So you had a lot
Yeah.
of people that were like asked to make guide type videos, explaining the characters, explaining the kits and shit, when their normal content was nothing like that. And obviously like they want to do it for the bag because it's related to their content.
Yeah.
But like, I think that's like, I don't call Vars a guide maker because he would never make a guide of his own volition if he wasn't getting paid for it. And I don't
And
think
that's
that's
the
like
thing. I think
Okay.
if you're getting paid for it, you should put in an extraordinary amount of effort into the content.
I
You
can agree
would
with that.
really hope that, but I promise you, no one does that. I do think so.
It's
You're
just-
absolutely right.
I
Some
mean-
people totally should do that. No one does that.
I mean, you're getting paid for it, so I would imagine that you would put in extra effort into it.
That's what you'd think, right?
I mean, it's just, I think that's the expectation.
Oh, of course.
Listen, man, I'm gonna be
You are
honest.
so right. Nobody does that.
I'm gonna be honest, man. November's been fucking crazy. December is also crazy. I don't think most people are putting in their full effort for all these videos right now.
It's people slop out sponsors non-fucking stop. Case in point, I mean, you think people are going into their 5th Raid Shadow Legend sponsor of the month and actually giving a fuck about the game? Absolutely not. Once again, I think your expectations are super reasonable, but just know nobody does that.
I mean, it's just, and I mean, I guess I don't feel like I'm doing anything necessarily wrong by like calling that out. Like, if you're getting paid for it, a significant amount of money to create this content, and like, can't we just, he says stuff like Mono Glacio having no support when Baija at S6 grants a Glacio buff on the entire team as a healer. We just are saying shit that is demonstrably false in-game and proven with 5 seconds of looking at a character's kit. It's
Yes.
simply just like, there's no effort at all.
So then
Okay.
what you're
Put into the
saying is,
content.
if he's being disclosed, or if he's doing a guide because it's sponsored, he should present it as such and not state so many things as objective when in reality he doesn't really know what he's talking about. Is that what you're
As
saying?
a disclaimer, this video is not sponsored by Kuro Games. This video was not sponsored by Kuro Games.
Oh,
But he has been sponsored in
Interesting.
the past.
Okay.
He has been sponsored in the past. I thought I clarified that earlier.
Okay.
He has been sponsored by Kuro in the past, but this video is not sponsored by them. But it's just
Alright.
like you've already
Yep.
built up this reputation in the community by making these videos, right? You are kind of like one of the quote unquote leaders in the Wuwa content creation space because you've shown that relationship. And so why are you just depicting yourself in this way with absolutely no effort, no thought, a ChatGPT script that we're just reading off with B-roll that is, again, the most diabolically, devilishly bad B-roll I've ever seen in the game.
So I'm gonna keep it real with you. I don't think he's a leader in the space.
Well,
like
he
not at
does-
all.
I
Because if you
mean-
look at like who's getting the most viewership, it's I Win to Lose, me, and then you and like Gotcha Gamer, I think.
How
when
many
it comes
views does
to
the video have?
Yeah, maybe that's fair. But it's just like, why does he have to be paid to actually not put misinformation in the video? Is that like a requirement? Like if he doesn't get paid for the video, he's just gonna fucking
So
do whatever the hell he wants?
do you feel like he's intentionally doing that, or do you think he just didn't
I think he
research it?
intentionally put in no effort into this video, was just saying some shit and
Okay.
uploaded it. I think he
So I guess-
intentionally didn't put in effort.
Because my concern with this whole thing is, right, like, okay, if it's not sponsored, right, which I assumed it was because he hasn't really uploaded Wuwa stuff outside of like being sponsored for the most part. And I can't imagine that, well, I mean, this is the first time I've really seen him upload like something that, like you said, is kind of like lower effort, like he didn't put as much research into it. But I also think by that same token, like the Glacio example that you were giving, do you have other examples of that, or is it just the one?
Oh,
because I think it's
so much. I mean, it's. I have a 48-minute video.
well, I'm talking
tearing this whole
about
thing
the
apart.
Glacio thing specifically, right? Because sometimes when it's just one thing, you gloss over it, like it's not something you think about. And obviously, you wouldn't do that because
It's-
you're someone who plays every fucking day. You're like in this game.
It's a 5-hour react for a reason, man.
Right. I'm not saying there's not other issues with the video. What I'm saying is that you're finding things in this video that you disagree with, which is fine. It's normal. But I feel like you're also being a little nitpicky with it to a degree that people that are enjoying Vars content probably wouldn't.
Well, that's the thing. He is making this as like a public critique of the game, talking about how the team building has flaws. And the reasoning he's providing is not research. There's no effort put in. It looks like a ChatGPT script. And when we're talking about a problem with the game as a figurehead, right, that has, maybe he's not the biggest, but he has made sponsored content from the game, right? It's just like, hey, right? Like,
I am curious
why
what
can't we
your
just,
thoughts
like,
are,
look
Brax.
at a kid?
Because he's making a video that is heavily scrutinizing the game, do you not believe that that video should not be fairly subjected to scrutiny itself?
No, I do. I think my thing was, first off, I was under the impression this was a sponsored video. Right.
Yeah.
So because I was under that impression, and I should have checked, but I feel like
Yeah.
I've never seen this guy upload Wuwa that's not sponsored. So
Yeah, absolutely. yeah.
Check out this one. No one plays Calchoro. Not sponsored. Or
Interesting.
I believe this one not sponsored.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, that one's my bad then. But I feel like for Vars, I know he actually cares a lot about delivering good info. So I'm very surprised at how much he was getting wrong in that video.
Yeah, it's just, there's a reason why I actually get through the first 6 minutes or first 4 or 5 minutes of the video without too much of a hitch. And the rest of the react takes like 3 hours because I am just shell-shocked by how somebody sponsored by the company can have so much information that is just objectively, demonstrably false.
Okay. So kind of going back, like I agree that like there's a lot of stuff in that video that is just incorrect, right? I still am a firm believer that going live and talking about it for 5 hours creates a sort of vitriol, right? It creates a sort of environment where like, oh, we're gonna all shit on this guy. And I know that like people say that Curlbots are toxic as fuck. I don't think it's Curl. I think gotcha gamers are just fucking tilted all the time because their games are dog shit, right? And I feel like that's where a lot of the anger comes from. But a lot of people are under this impression that like people that play Kuro games are toxic as fuck. I don't think that's a Kuro thing. I think it's a gotcha thing. But it doesn't help when a bunch of people in the Kuro games community are seeing something like this and they're dogpiling, right? Like dogpiling, everyone is going after Vars because someone made a video on it and then, or didn't make it. Someone went live and talked about it for 5 hours and they said some things in there that felt aggressive. You were getting pretty heated. or maybe you weren't. Maybe you're just playing it up for stream. I don't know. It sounded like you were getting heated. So when you let your emotions get the best of you, when you're looking at shit like this, all it does is create an enemy out of someone. And knowing, like, having been friends with Vars for a long time.
I'm gonna be honest, Brax. If he is making content that is potentially supposed to critique the game, that is supposed to highlight what problems the devs are making that they should fix, and we're using research that isn't there, we're literally like basically trying to bait the community into believing issues that don't actually exist. But the idea is just like, we're literally manufacturing problems out of nothing.
I feel like that's what's happening in the, okay, obviously you had problems with the video, but I feel like that's also happening on your end.
He's manufacturing problems out of nothing. He made a 14-minute video out of thoughts, research, conclusions that don't actually do anything, or that aren't actually provable, that don't make any sense. And the Wulong community, in my opinion, just sniffed out the bullshit. Because they're just like, why would we want the devs to make any of the changes that you're suggesting when your reasons for them are quite literally not rooted in reality? And so I don't think it's a fault of the community to shit on this video and to shit on the take, because you are quite literally actively, with maybe intentions aren't there, but what you're suggesting would make the game worse using reasoning that you yourself haven't validated or even like attempted to research or put any due diligence into at all.
I'm gonna be honest, man. I just feel like the guy put out a video on his opinion on the game. And I don't feel like there's a problem with that. Like, because the community, if they smell bullshit, they'll smell bullshit.
Yeah, and that's
right. What they don't need is like a, because you understand that, like, when you have a Twitch community, like those people are there for you. And I'm gonna be honest, Twitch is kind of culty as a whole. Like your Twitch chat, like some people literally have their Twitch chat fucking worshiping them, right? Like, so when I feel like we have a responsibility as creators to not direct that sort of stuff at people. And maybe this is just because I was like in public schools for a while, and so like this is just something that I've like kind of grown into. But the idea of like directing a shit ton of people a certain way and like showing,
drop a link to this. I didn't drop a link to this video in my
chat. Yeah, for sure. I know you didn't like drop a link in your chat, but I feel like when you go after someone and then you're doing it in front of a bunch of people and you let those sort of emotions get the best of you, where like you're starting to seem angry. People can tell you're upset, right? People know you're mad. That it kind of like incites other people to do the same thing. I know you didn't actually say, hey, go fuck this guy up. You didn't say, hey, go shit on this video. But it kind of just inherently happens if you expose your community to that, and it almost feels like you're encouraging it by going on such a long tirade.
My viewpoint on this is, if you don't want me to negatively react to content, stop making content worth negatively reacting to.
I guess my opinion is, if anybody cares, is that if you're if you're making controversial content, you should be open to controversial responses, as well as if Saint's opinion, or if Vars' opinion of his video that reached 27,000 people, despite the damage and the misinformation it's putting out into the space, doesn't matter, then Saintontas reacting to it for 5 hours to 400 people shouldn't matter. So it's kind of just like, you got to pick what matters and what's not and keep it consistent, because, like, I mean, you got to understand from, like, Saintontas' point of view, this guy just put out misinformation to 27,000 people, right? So it's
okay.
Like,
so,
it's a much wider audience than my Twitch, what he just did here.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
I mean, Tech, you know as well as I do, though, that like Twitch viewers are way more interested in your content and your thoughts and your feelings on things than the average YouTube viewer.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Right. So it's like, you say like 27,000 versus like 400, but it's not not exactly like that. Right? Because like you might have 27,000 people watching this, and maybe 100 people believed it, right? Maybe 1,000 people believed it, maybe 20,000 people believed it. We don't fucking know, but I know sure as hell a lot of the people on Twitch definitely believe it.
100%. I'm just saying, like, I can't feel bad for Vars because he experienced controversy by making a controversial video. And if people don't want controversy, they shouldn't make controversial content. That's just how
why make a 14-minute critique of the game if you're not willing to have those critiques challenged? Is my thought on it. And the idea is that whenever you're trying to point out a problem, right, people are going to be like, why is this a problem? And when your justification for the problem is this fucking bad, I don't think you can complain about people negatively responding to it.
It feels okay, and maybe this is just because because I haven't seen all of the context with every single other creator, right? Because I like I said, I didn't watch all of the Pokey and Gotcha Smack stuff. That's why I was misinformed when I was talking to Box, which I saw you talking about, right? But when it comes to this whole thing, right? I think to me it just bothers me because I've been in Vars' position before, and the problem with mine is like I didn't really say anything that was that egregious.
Yeah, I don't
But
think.
I
Yeah,
worry
I
that
think
This is an egregious video.
Yeah, you were
Yeah,
just you were just making normal guides and people were being weird, Brax. 100%. You were never making controversial content, but when somebody says this game is wrong, here's why, here's all the points I have, all of it is wrong. Like you're opening yourself up to just getting shit on.
Like we're questioning the
saying is-
design decisions of the devs. We're telling them that like better design games actually do this. Like this is what a better game looks like, and this is how they do it. Right? You're making the comparisons. You're literally doing the comparisons that apparently, right, that I'm not supposed to do. But he makes the comparisons and just talks about how all these other games are doing it better off of flawed reasoning that doesn't make sense.
So the thing is, I guess I've already kind of said this a bunch of times, but I just don't think we need to be encouraging like the culture on Twitch in the Wuhan community of going and watching people's videos and like shitting on them for 5 hours.
You know what?
And that might just be a fundamental disagreement. Like maybe that's just fine.
Oh no,
for you.
I absolutely agree with you. I think that's
And the thing
perfectly
is-
fine to not encourage that behavior. 100%.
I agree with you, and I have adjusted the way that I've reacted to content in recent days to be a lot more like reasonable, but a lot more level-headed when approaching it, right? And
Yeah.
I think it's just the framing of like, hey, let's put in a little bit more effort, a little bit more work into the process before we're going to make critiques like this. Because I think if he did the research, he probably would not have made this video.
It can be a shit take though, without it evolving into like this guy getting just fucked on by everyone. And it wasn't, and the thing is, it was mostly like it was just you, right? Like
It was just him. Yeah.
And that's the thing. I'm not saying like other creators, like you didn't incite other creators to do it, but it's the same shit that I saw as a Jeff doing, and I don't want the same thing.
I don't think it's the same at all.
Yeah, I think it's
Not even similar.
adjacent. I don't think it's the same.
Well, okay, but
So
so Jeff
was
also
like,
shit on videos that were like this too. There was this guy named Erotic Walrus who used to upload Genshin content, and he had no fucking idea what he's talking about half the time.
Yeah.
I was friends with the dude. He was a chill dude, right?
Yeah.
But like this guy was just getting shit on all the fucking time. And
Yeah.
like
I'm just saying, for this
I'm just
specific
not a
example that
proponent.
you're-
I don't believe that we should actually go after people for having opinions on the internet. I'm just gonna say it. It's like Twitter,
I
except
think-
now we put it in video format.
Was it? What was,
Like,
what was
I
the
know
like,
Crow
what
is-
was the like to dislike ratio on the video?
It's absolutely diabolical.
I think
don't
it's
have
pretty
the
bad.
plugin.
Yeah.
I don't have the plugin on it.
Hold up, I'll pull it up. It's called what's the video called, Saintontas?
The problem with Wuthering Waves is team building. I think Shinya
problem
posted the
with-
stats. It's like a 1.8 to 1K.
Waves team building.
So like 60 something %.
It's been
Like
confirmed
he says
by
things like we need something like
Ooh,
we
that's
need
rough.
elemental reactions.
Yeah,
He
that's
says we
bad.
need elemental reactions.
I don't think we need elemental reactions, but I don't think it's wrong to say like we could definitely use more depth. Right? That's my opinion. I feel like we could use more depth in Wuthering Waves. Or I feel like we could use more content that lets us express the like parries and dodges better, which you showed me with the fallacy, which I didn't know.
He also says
right?
parries and dodges are bad for the game.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, he says that in the support section. He says
That-
parries and
that's-
dodges
that's
are
a
bad for
fucking
the
shit
game.
take. I agree.
He says you need like John Lees that just can tank all the hits and not ever use parries or dodges.
Okay, yeah, that's a shit take. 100% I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the kind of stuff that he's suggesting in the video, guys.
I don't think it's like I'm seeing chat is kind of coming after me for this now, but like I don't think it's like a sensitivity thing. Like I think we should just encourage people to make shit. I think making shit is cool. I think making videos is
agree,
cool.
I agree.
And I think that he will not get any bigger as a creator if he's spreading misinformation because people will catch it, right? But I don't think that's your job to be the person that catches it and prevents it, right? The community will do that themselves. They already have. Like if you look at his viewership from Genshin and Honkai Star Rail, like people have decided that they just don't really care for the content as much. And like, that's just kind of what happened. Like whether it's a result of misinformation or not, like he's not actually reaching that crazy of an audience. And I feel like you should, I mean, genuinely, you should just be the change that you want to see, right? So if you want to see people spreading like the right info, you should make videos about it. Just say like this, like, here's the great things about Wuthering Waves team building. But you don't have to come after a dude for it, right? You don't have to sit there and be like, this guy's misinforming all of you. And like, you can't trust this guy.
My take on this is, if we're going to make critiques about the game, if we're going to point out where there are problems, if we're going to talk about and basically critique the devs' design decisions, let's put more effort into it. Let's do research. Let's look at a character kit at least a single time. We are a Wuthering Waves sponsored creator. We are supposed to be somebody who represents Kuro Games to a degree. Let's put in at least the smallest amount of effort into our content when we're representing the game publicly.
That's a fair take.
And he
That's
did
fair.
not do that here.
I think he should do better. I agree. But it's not our job to police that.
I think, okay, so are you saying you should only react to content if you're going to say nice things?
No, that's not what I'm saying either. I just
What-
think
what
that
are-
the way
what are
he
you
handled
saying?
it was really intense. I think it was bad. Like you've reacted to content before, and I think it's been fine. I actually watch your fucking videos, man. Like I watch your Pridewin react, which I thought was hilarious.
That was a good one. That was funny.
That was a
wasn't it?
good ass video, right? And Pridewin's not a fucking entity that
You know
people are
I'm
gonna
actually
like.
in touch. I actually help with the tier list now on Pridewin.
Oh,
I
actually,
told you guys, bullying works.
Hold on, I
Oh
feel
my
like
God.
we should really hone in on this.
no, because I
because I
think you
feel
can
like-
react and disagree with something. I think it's how you go about it that's shitty.
I think that, and I mean this genuinely, I think you wouldn't care about this situation if it was not your friend Brax. And I think you're a very good friend, but I think your friend made a controversial video. Someone reacted controversially, and I think it's fine. I do agree that Saintontas is intense, but if Saintontas would have reacted to a normal guide video and said, fuck this guy, he is putting out misinformation on a normal non-controversial video, it's weird as fuck. But the guy quite literally said, this game has problems. Here are the problems that don't exist. Listen to me. And I feel like it's fine to react to the video in the way that he did. Obviously, for real, I think you need to chill the fuck out. Like, you were angry all the fucking time.
Oh, I made sure that the edited VOD was like cut down on a lot of the moments. I was getting riled up on my chat. I had some boosted individuals saying, "Oh, you need to hear all of his points. You need to hear everything. You need to watch the whole video before you comment on it."
Of course.
And I was like, get the fuck out of my chat.
Yeah, but
Like,
I will
like,
say,
I was getting riled up by that a little bit.
You
That's fair.
are heated nonstop. And even so, here's the thing: you have the issue that I have, Saintontas, which is what you're saying is correct, but the problem is you're saying it like a douchebag, and that's the problem that I have. Is that the things that I say aren't wrong, but the way I'm saying it is like a piece of shit, right? So like I feel like once again, Brax, your homie fucked up. He got shit on a little bit. Saintontas,
Yep.
you were right, but the way you said it was kind of a dick. And I feel like that's
Could have
pretty
been
much just
said
it.
better. I've been altering my content, altering my reacts to be a lot more, potentially fair, a bit easier to understand and more agreeable in the future. To me, this is a learning lesson in a couple of ways.
Can you
right?
understand why, like, I view this as, like, fucked up also in the context of, like, just seeing everyone fucking coming at you and you coming at everyone at the same time this is happening?
Hey, just another day in top lane, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my God, this
it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Listen, man, I'm not a proponent of like arguments are about fucking winning, right? I would rather everyone just be on the same fucking page at the end of it.
Yeah.
I don't think you're unreasonable, but I feel like Tech said, you just gotta chill out, man.
Yeah, and it's been a learning lesson for me.
Absolutely, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, don't get me wrong. Hey, don't get me wrong. Listen,
hey, yo.
I think it is so entertaining how heated you get. But as long as you're aware, motherfuckers
Hey,
are gonna hate your ass if you keep saying it like this.
Also, that was one of my most. So this is the thing, guys.
So let's retract that point, and we're gonna do the old. Saintontas says he's wrong. Here we go. And get it. Say, yeah, you're right. I was too intense.
You know what? I could have maybe worded that a little bit more.
And there we go. Okay, great. Easy.
Okay,
All right.
Is that
Absolutely.
Alright, he did what EO could not.
Absolutely.
Is that
That's
cool?
crazy.
I could have worded that.
But,
more
like,
nicer.
genuinely, 'cause-
Yep. Easy.
I
Easy
still
points.
stand by my thoughts though on the entire video.
Hey, and you know what's crazy? I agree with you. If somebody doesn't know how to play the fucking game, then don't make a game pretending that you do. All right, with that, I'm gonna go to Cracker Barrel. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.
All right.
All
Just
right.
fucking
All
left.
right.
Okay.
All right.
Listen, man.
Peace
Yeah,
out, Tech.
I do. Listen, I apologize for shit talking to you in other people's chats. It
Yeah,
was
all
uncalled
good,
for.
man.
Honestly, I should have just added you on Discord and brought it to you directly.
I would
but
have really
I was just
preferred
pissed.
if we could have had a one-on-one conversation about that, and I could have clarified a lot of these things.
Yeah.
But obviously, right, like different contexts, like different like framing. You obviously had like a negative impression of me, and hopefully I've done something.
Super negative impression, man.
Hopefully I've done something better to better that impression with the call today. Yeah, to me, just no hard feelings. But like I said, man, content on you clearing the overdrive zone after this stream would be
Dude,
crazy.
listen, I'll get better at the game.
It would be
I shit you
crazy,
not. I
dude.
was it was literally, I learned the rotation, I put it in the video, I forget the rotation, I don't play the game until next beta comes out. That's what it was. And then I did the Shorekeeper quest, and since then I've been doing my dailies at least, which is a lot better.
Okay.
Than what I was doing before. I am getting back into the game.
Let's unlock the overdrive zone too.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, for sure, man.
Yo, I just one last thing. I don't agree with everything that you've said and done, and I'm sure you don't agree with everything that I've said.
Yeah.
But and maybe you don't see yourself going this way, but just be careful, man, because it would really suck if things just got more and more inflammatory and it just got worse, and then everyone's at each other's throats and the entire Curl game community is just fucked.
What I imagine is
I've seen it in Genshin.
Yeah.
I don't want it to happen here.
I agree completely, man, and that's why I've already said that I've been adjusting some of my content, and I think like this sort of like somewhat inflammatory response is just like, hey guys, let's stop making content worth reacting like this for.
Just be careful, because like you do have a big platform and it's growing, right?
Yeah.
You're a good creator. I've been watching your fucking YouTube videos.
Appreciate it,
right?
man.
And that's why I was like, oh wait, what the fuck, he's in drama, you know? But then, you know, Vars sends me a DM with the screenshots of the comments, and they're just fucking absolutely vile shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, we don't need that.
Absolutely.
Right? Neither of us want that to be all the community is. Like, I'm sure one day if somebody shits on a video you make, like let's say hypothetically you make a really big mistake in a video and then somebody shits on it and people are just fucking dogpiling you, that's not gonna feel good.
Exactly.
Right. So just be careful with that going forward. I'll keep my mouth shut. I won't bring that shit up in public. That was my bad.
All good, man. Appreciate it.
And honestly, dude, do you want to review my account sometime?
Yeah, dude, I am down to get you on and maybe get you to 30 out of 30 the tower, and then maybe an overdrive zone stage or two.
Oh my god. All right.
That'll be some cinema content.
Peak cinema.
I'm down,
all right,
dude.
Man.
I'm down, dude. Just hit me up whenever you want to do it, and yeah, we'll just schedule an entire stream.
All right, sounds good, man.
All right, appreciate it, dude.
All right, have a good rest of your stream.
Yeah, you too, man.
Later.
Peace out.